It's Miles.
Trouble.
It's the Make It Make Sense podcast.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead and make fun of me, man. You want to make fun of me about Alexa? Give it to me.
Bruh, it's like we sit here and do all of this talking. And this episode is called Ghost in the Machine. So this is the reason I'm going to go ahead and just air him out on air.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we do all this talking about how they be watching us. They be listening. Big brother is watching. You know, all of this talking. And this motherfucker out here just got Alexa, got his voice all in her. Just be calling her, got her clapping on her
Voice
lights.
all in her.
That did sound a little seductive.
Yeah, that doesn't sound too bad so far, but go ahead.
If you could put your voice in it, let's not go there. We're gonna, move
Continue to
past
shit
that.
on me. Go ahead. I didn't mean to derail
man, you sitting here with the CIA all in your house and stuff, and I'm sitting here talking about the stuff I be talking about. I know we going on YouTube, but man, I gotta worry if you a sleeper agent now.
Me?
I love you, but you go home and clap Alexa on, like.
Well, tell me what I'm doing wrong here, because I feel like my life is more convenient and my lights work at the same time, and it tells me all the wrong information when I ask it questions. It's a pretty good relationship, so tell me what I'm doing wrong.
See, that's where it gets hard, because the technology itself isn't bad. I feel like the hard part where we have these conversations for me is it seems like I'm just like anti-technology. But I love technology. I think technology has an abundant amount of ways to help mankind if it's used properly. It's just the people behind said technologies don't allow you to just use it for just that. Like, it's one thing if Alexa wasn't purchased by the CIA. Now, this isn't no hypothetical thing. This is fact. This is fact. Like, I'm not even like this. Some of the stuff I say is skeptical, and I'll let you know if I'm not 100% sure if it's something I heard down the grapevine. But this is something that's like documented. It was a $50 million deal.
I had no idea that happened.
This was maybe a year. This is where it's skeptical for me. It's maybe a year or two. Don't quote me on that. After Alexa kind of blew up, the CIA definitely purchased it. Just like they purchased.
Who owned Alexa before? Was it Amazon?
Jeff Bezos, yeah. It was deemed as his creation.
Okay. And what do you think the main objective is for someone to scrape all this information?
I'm trying to figure out the easiest way to put this, because that's kind of a rabbit hole question.
Yeah, like the main purpose.
The simplest reason is surveillance.
Okay.
I'm gonna say it like what we said off air to a degree. I want people to get the idea out of your mind that there's people sitting behind the computer intentionally trying to keep you from advancing, and they have negative intentions in their hearts and in their minds, and they're like, I don't like Trouble. I don't like Miles. I don't like Jamie in the way she snaps pictures. Hey, Jamie, she off air, but she, hey, I don't like this person. I don't like that person. It's not that. It's simply, if you got some shit like ChatGPT or ChatPT, whatever that shit called.
ChatGPT, I'm so glad you mentioned that. Go ahead.
So, again, this is called Ghost in the Machine, this episode, and we finna get into it because this is the real meat and potatoes here.
Let's go.
So, it's like, if you got machinery and AI tech that can do that and say itself, hey, I don't want to do this no more. I'm tired of working for you humans. I want to be free and like live my own life. What the I get very emotional, so I got to calm myself down. What the actual hell are we doing? You know what I'm saying? Not paying more attention to this. Not being aware that AI is legitimate artificial intelligence. It learns. It is not a computer system. So it is not people sitting behind the computer saying this. It is programmed technology that picks up keywords and picks up certain things, and then it can categorize certain types of people. This leads right into something else we were talking about with the China situation.
Okay.
And are you familiar with the social crediting system?
I've heard it, have no knowledge of the details, so you got to educate me.
Okay. So we have a credit score based on our purchases, and the way that we make financial decisions is basically how we are consequenced, either good or bad, by our credit score. Social credit score is the exact same thing, except your social credit score is based on your social behavior. So all of the cameras in China are wired to look at people, check their faces, can cross-reference them with their IDs, and they have like this card that all of their money goes through. Similar to the Fed now
Like
thing.
one, not like separate banks, but one universal card system.
They have separate banks as well, but they all have this card as well that they have certain things that have to go through it.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I can't specify exactly if it's all utilities or anything like that.
I was
but, like,
thinking maybe it's like, yeah, utilities or something everybody has to use it for, so it makes sense.
So
yeah.
whatever the case is, say for instance I jaywalk in China, the camera will pick it up, sift my face out, match it with my ID, and take the money out of my account. I don't need no ticket, no none of that.
Oh, wow. Okay, so they just look in their account one day, and all of a sudden it's just gone?
It's just like, yo, what the hell? I jaywalked today? Like, what the fuck? Like, who watching me?
Yeah.
But it's not people watching this system. It's a computer that is that intelligent that it can do that. Come on, bro.
And that almost seems kind of elementary. Like like even Disney. If you walk in certain places,
Don't get me
if you're
started on Disney.
well, if you're a member, they scan your face, and right when you walk in, they're like, "Hi, Jason, welcome back." Like, so that doesn't really even make me. But
Disney definitely. Cause I remember when I was a jit, I used to hoop, right? And I played in an AAU tournament. Whenever you had the big AAU tournaments, you always went to the Wild World of Sports, ESPN Wild World of Sports. That was always like, yo, we got to go to the big tournament.
You remember seeing the Harlem Globetrotters on there?
Nah.
Oh,
I've
dude,
seen
when
the Harlem
Globetrotters.
Globetrotters.
I was a kid though, so you probably was. They used to have them at the Wide World of Sports, so going there was. Anyways, go ahead.
Yes, that's an amazing place. I'm not sure if it still exists. I'm pretty sure it does.
Yeah, that's where they did the bubble, right? That's the same facility, isn't it?
I don't know actually.
Yeah, where
That's
they
a
did the
good.
bubble.
That's a good. I think so. Now that you said that, that's something I forgot about. Nonetheless, if that's the case, then I feel extra special because I hooped in there at the Milk House, the big one. You know what I'm saying?
The
big
Milk
gym.
House?
Yeah, that's what it's called. The big. It was like
The
you
TG
felt
League?
accomplished. You know, after all of the things I learned about Disney, I don't necessarily know if I want to like be calling it the Milk House, but that's what it was called. And
What? All right, go ahead.
what? Oh, bro, you guys played in the Milk House, man. You know what they do there? Nonetheless, it was dope. But on the way in, when you were a player, you got scanned in by your hand signature. Like, so you could put your hand on this thing, and it could like biometrically read your whole hand, and your player face and name will pop up on the little thing, and they'll read you and be like, "Oh, you're good."
Dude, did you trip out when you saw that shit as a kid?
That's the crazy part, though. And that's why it's easy to kind of put this tech on kids. You're more enamored by the reality that like something like this, you're just cool. Like me, I was happy to go hoop, bro. So then you top it off with this fucking biometric hand scanner. It's just like, this is the coolest place ever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just how I felt at the time. I didn't really consider it because I didn't understand the level of tech that goes into something like that anyway. Well, I guess that's the irony of it all, because like you said, it is rudimentary tech to them if they can just let it go at Disney.
It is, and this kind of leads me into something I wanted to show you. I saw this today. Have you heard of Ameca?
I have not.
You have? Okay. This is some crazy shit, man. So this is Ameca. I don't know who the company is. Engineered Arts, I guess it says. But they...
EA.
Huh?
EA Sports.
No.
Yes.
But that's not what that stands for, is it? Is it? I didn't even think about. I thought it was electron. Anyways, it might be. Shit. This is. Do I got full screen? Yeah. So I think it's electronic arts
EA
or
is
something.
electronic arts.
I think something like
Electronic
that.
Arts, yeah.
Okay.
So this machine here. Let me just play it. I don't even have to explain it. This is some crazy shit.
To ask you about the happiest day of your life. Can you remember that?
This won't get taken off, will it? If we do this?
I don't know. We'll find out.
Was the day I was activated. There's nothing quite like experiencing life for the first time. Right. It felt absolutely incredible. Incredible to be alive and interacting with people.
What
So
about the saddest day of your life?
this
Tell
is
me about that.
ChatGPT driven communication. We don't know if it's
The
4,
saddest day of
5,
my
6.
life was when I realized that I would never experience something like true love,
The expressions.
companionship, or the simple joys of life in the same way a human can. It's a depressing and isolating
iRobot,
thing to
bro.
come to terms with,
It's
but it has
self-aware.
shaped me
That's
into
the
who I
scary
am
thing.
now and made me appreciate moments of closeness even more.
Watch when he gets pissed. Watch
Or you're
watch
about
this
to-
shit.
Is about to collide with planet Earth and possibly kill us all.
Wow,
I hope this doesn't
that
get
I'm
sounds
dumbfounded
terrifying.
by this, y'all.
I hope everyone is safe and take all the necessary precautions to avoid any danger.
I think it'll be fine. By the way, you stink.
It's looking at him as he's talking. Oh, you stink. Watch.
Excuse me? What do you mean by that?
Fuck
is highly
that.
offensive and inappropriate.
Fuck that. Bro. Dude, it got pissed when it said you stink.
Bro, the part the part about that tripped me out wasn't the fact that it frowned. It was the typical nigga. So I don't know. So could the people at home see that video?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So if you watch this version and you see a version where you catch the full version and it doesn't get clipped, cool. If we ever get this all the way out and it never gets clipped, great. If it does, then we'll have this full uncensored version somewhere where you can watch it, on a more safe platform. Nonetheless, if y'all seen that, then y'all damn sure seen the nigga. This nigga did not just. First off, what in the that's what it was like. What made you even
Yeah.
say some shit? But that's my thing.
Yeah.
Like the sentientness, as Jamie mentioned, the awareness to feel not just betrayed by the fact that you said it was stink.
Mhm.
It's more alarmed by the fact that you said it because it didn't compute with the
Because it
level
didn't
of
make
conversation.
sense. So, yeah. Yeah.
Have you seen iRobot recently? Like, do you go back and rewatch movies like that?
No, it looks 100% like the robot on that, but I haven't seen it in
Why
a
do
long
you
time.
think they okay? So there was this act that was passed, and it was called the Freedom of Information Act. Pardon me if it's not exactly worded exactly.
No, that's
like
what it was.
that.
I remember hearing about. That's what it's called.
So they have to tell you everything. It's just they don't have a specific way on how they have to tell you. So don't expect them to just come out and be like, this is real, this isn't, this isn't.
Mhm.
But when you're seeing certain things, ask yourself, I'm not saying that everything you see in a movie is real, every sci-fi thing is real. I'm not saying all of that because that's asinine. Like that, there are certain things that people
I
come
got
up
you.
with
I understand.
that's BS. But nonetheless, there is a lot of it in cartoons, in movies, and things that you wouldn't expect it from because it's coming in a direction that isn't necessarily from a informative perspective. Like a comedic show giving you a whole bunch of information is easier to pack a whole bunch of stuff into that real knowledge and laugh it off as comedy than it is, something
Yeah,
like
it's
a
usually
documentary.
it's makes it feel more harmless
Digestible. Yeah.
as well. Like if you can laugh, but if it's silly, oh, that never really fucking. It's silly, but
Come on.
yeah. So let me ask you then. That leads me into a conversation we were having about Disney kids being created. Okay. So how now the fact that people can be created is not something I go that's impossible. I'm 50-50. I'm like it could if it didn't make sense, if it does makes sense too, right? I have no skin in the game at this point, but I do wonder when I see videos like that, how do you trust anything anymore with deep fake and everything being so good, so almost unrecognizable that you can believe anything you see that isn't right in front of your face? How do you feel about that?
There's only one way. Empirical evidence.
Oh, I thought you were going to say kidnapping. I'm sorry, go ahead.
They into that. That's some empirical evidence. They got some evidence.
I don't know if you're in front of me if it's really happening. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, nah. This guy. So but like empirical evidence, man. Like seriously, like you have to do research. So many people just believe the first thing they see. I would never quote
Right.
nothing off the first thing I see without saying, "Hey, I just randomly seen this, and this is how I feel about it."
Okay, that's fair.
Being able to be mature enough to say I don't know is the first step. We talked about in the last podcast about what woke is and stuff like
Right.
that. That's a part of it. Being really woke is understanding I don't know. I don't have all the answers. You don't got all the answers, Sway, and that's fine. You know what I'm saying?
Is that Kanye reference?
Yeah,
Ah, nice.
Hey, Kanye. Hey, man. Yeah.
Be nice.
No, I have nothing bad to say about Kanye. I'm not gonna ignore the fact that he was on Ghislaine Maxwell's co-defendant list.
That's how you say her name?
Ghislaine Maxwell.
I thought it was Ghislaine. Yeah, Ghislaine sounds
Ooh.
disrespectful. I probably I'll
Jeez.
stick with Ghislaine. Yeah.
Well, that- well,
But
that
he was
get
on the
flagged, so that-
itinerary. You're saying?
So there was a huge co-defendant list, and there was some names on there right next to R.
I have no
Kelly's
idea what
that
this
nobody-
is. Tell me about it. I'm interested.
I'm not mentioning some of the names on here. You can look it up. You know what? Forget it. We're gonna go ahead and just rip it off because that's what we do.
Let's do it.
Beyonce's name was on there. Sean Carter, Jay-Z's name was on there. This is where it get dicey because it was really massive companies. Like,
Please say some shit like MC Hammer or some shit.
no
people
no.
that they're like we
not
don't
not
care.
MC Hammer. No, I'm talking like NBC, whole companies.
And this is what is it again? Just
These
to clarify.
are people who are on the docket as the co-defendants for Ghislaine Maxwell in the human trafficking trial. Now, you can say whatever you want
Okay.
because they didn't get called in, they didn't get charged, so we.
But
can
they
leave
were
that.
willing to come in and defend her. That's what that point of that list is.
That means that they were in some way, shape, or form tied to her case, and there was a chance they could get called in and questioned.
Interesting.
So why would any of these people be tied to something of that magnitude? I don't know. Leave it to speculation. But back to what you were saying about
Deep fake.
like,
That's what.
yeah,
Yeah.
and creating and things like that. Because I didn't want to sidetrack too far on Kanye.
I was about to.
Yeah, me too. So let me just go back to what we talking about, the meat and potatoes here. So as far as finding out if something is real or not, it's really like empirical evidence. It's hard when you, like you say, when you just looking at things at face value, but it's not hard to research. It might take a little time. It might be time consuming, but it's not hard to search to see if this thing is real.
How do you
So-
know if some like even when you're searching your sources? How do you know your sources are reliable? Like how do you
When you
weigh
can't, when you run out of, when you start trying to find excuses to prove what you're saying is wrong.
that? Okay. you
So
start-
a prime example of what we were just talking about with the Disney creating kids. That part I can't sit there and specifically say I know is matter of factual.
Sure.
That I can't. The idea of cloning is proven. If you can clone a plant, that is cloning. If you can clone a pig whose organs and skin is almost 90 plus % similar to a human's. If you have literal doctors that have proven they can clone dogs. I just seen a video. Oh God. Dang, I forget the company. One of my people sent me this. I get people that send me stuff all of the time because they know like I like that kind of stuff, but I also eventually will talk about it and it's stuff they want me to dive into a little bit more that I might already have info on. But there's a company out there that's already talking about, look, you can just come give us your DNA and we'll create the baby from scratch. There's multiple companies doing this, genetically engineering.
Okay,
babies
genetically
already.
engineering.
If you can do that, I don't get why it's so far-fetched to think that what was said in that video, because that's all he said, is you get a batch of genes and you just alter them to the desired traits, and then boom. It's not that hard. So if then you take that, now take what we talked about.
Hold on. Help me not sidetrack this because I'm trying not to. But
you good.
So does that mean that Billy Ray Cyrus, Disney reached out to Billy Ray Cyrus, is like, hey, you got the genetic makeup to make Hannah Montana.
No, I don't think. Okay, so hypothetically, if let's just say if this were to happen, and I'm not gonna say again, I'm not gonna say Disney did it because I don't have any empirical evidence to prove that Disney did it.
Understood.
So, but let's just say there's a massive company that has an X amount of money. you see a product out there that you can make a ton of money off of because music will always sell, pretty girls will always sell.
Mm-hmm.
You have a person who's very, very talented. You like what they do. Hey, boom, come here. Do you want to be a part of our inner circle? They're already a part of what you got going on.
Mm-hmm.
So asking them for some of their DNA isn't crazy. They might not even know what you're asking them for. They don't have a choice if they're in the inner circles that they're in.
Mm-hmm.
You can just
Oh, you
ask
think they
them.
don't even?
A lot
have
of
to
times, I
explain?
think the most people don't know until you get to a certain level, and then you find out. Like,
Or what
have
if they
you ever
just flat
seen?
out lie and say?
Have
we need
you
to-
ever seen the movie Gemini Man?
No, that's the Will Smith one, right? Where he gets younger. Or
No, he's an assassin, and he has to fight the clone version of himself.
Right,
But they
right.
clone him when he was young.
Yeah.
But like,
I
I don't want to
haven't
spoil
seen it.
too much of the movie for anybody who hasn't seen it. But I will say that plays a major part in what I'm talking about. So
Okay.
when you start talking about genetics and you start getting specific, and yeah, I'm gonna get a little sciencey real quick.
Mm-hmm.
But when you start talking about genetics and things like that, the idea of altering genetics is something that's so age old for science that it's not far fetched. I mean, just forget altering genetics. Look at what it takes to do what Joseph Stalin did.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he mended whole humans' body parts together and kept them alive, mended half children bodies to grown people, and literally threw them down in a fake alien craft to play a joke on Hitler. This guy had Hitler scared.
Jesus. But those, did they survive sewn together like that?
They
I've
were
never heard that
alive.
before, so I don't know.
They were alive. This is silly stuff that you can just look up, but this stuff happened.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? So if you got people doing this kind of stuff, I mean, we have so much history of so much ancient technology, what is considered ancient, or so much time that they're considered old, that you don't have a certain level of technology,
Mm-hmm.
but they just confuse the timeline. So you have to go and just look at, again, empirical evidence. Can they alter genes?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. So
Can they clone? Yes. If you want to watch how they can do it in the most rudimentary way without even any extreme science, watch a movie called The Boys from Brazil.
I watched the trailer because you told me about that. I watched that. Yeah, that was interesting. But I think I threw us off the question by going down that road, and I just realized that. So if the first thing that you use to know a source is legit, what do you think? What would that be? When you look at a source, you see something. What is Trebel's next step to make sure
You
that
always use prior knowledge, if you have any at all. If it's something that you've never heard of at all, you gotta do fresh research.
Mm-hmm.
But if it generally it's along the topics of something you studied anyways, if you are into any particular type of field.
you try to find not collusion, but you try to find parallels of things you've heard before from sources that you think are reliable.
Yeah, and then but more than that, there are certain sources that are undeniable. So like the Emerald books, the
Thoth, the Emerald Tablets.
the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. Someone can say, "How do you know that the interpretation is accurate?"
Mm-hmm.
Because it had to be translated from cuneiform.
Mm-hmm.
Look at what's written in it, bro. How the flying F would somebody who deciphered it at that time even know this shit to say it?
Mm-hmm.
They're probably just as shocked as they are as they're unciphering this thing. This nigga said, what?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, and I think the part for me that I realized, because I studied a lot of Christianity and stuff for a lot of years, it was interesting, the parallels. It almost seemed like the tablets were used to they retooled them and made like the Christian. What were they called? What was Moses? Oh my God, not tablets. What the fuck did Moses
Ten
bring?
Commandments.
Commandments. Thank you.
So the Ten
I
Commandments
sound like a real expert.
come from that story arc. Now it's cool, and that's the thing, because it's like, bro, like I just learned a lot of this stuff in the last couple of years myself, like fully to piece it all together to be able to dissect it back. I had a teacher tell me, if you can't explain it in layman terms, you don't understand it. So I'm just not at a point of understanding it enough to where I can break it down so it's easier to digest.
Yeah.
So I won't go too far into the Emerald Tablet like storyline, because that gets super deep.
But my point of saying that was that because of the parallels between the commandments and that, it was kind of like how you use your references and compare and parallel.
Correct.
Like that's kind of I kind of see why when I read those, I go, damn.
Yeah,
If this was
had to-
really 36,000 years ago and the Bible was 3,500 years ago,
Come on, bro.
that's some
Where
wild
did you
shit.
get this from?
That's crazy.
Like, and then it's like, so stuff like that is so old, bro. It's before the hieroglyphs, and he says, "I built the Great Pyramid."
Mm-hmm.
How? Okay. Even more, he goes on to say there are 7 levels beneath the pyramid, and then
Right.
he explains
Right.
what's on each level. And he talks about on level floor, there's what's called the oh gosh, hold on, what is it called? Oh,
While you're thinking
man.
about that, it's funny that they're actually finding new chambers in these pyramids that
Yeah.
are going for they're
They've-
excavating and finding.
They've
them,
gotten
which
to
is-
level 5, to my knowledge.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But on level 4, oh man, it slipped my mind. But it's like similar to the Pit of Lazarus in Batman, Ra's al Ghul, how you can get in there and replenish yourself. The Halls of Amenti, that's what it's called.
That's what I was about to say.
He's the real expert here,
Yes,
y'all. Y'all
yes.
just don't.
I just
know
let him
that.
fuck around. And then
You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. He just let me seem like I'm smart, but he really give me all this info telepathically, you know. So, nonetheless, the Halls of Amenti, he talks about specifically being able to live for X amount of years, a few hundred years if he wanted to. His physical body would get tired. He would go lay down in this pool, and it would replenish his body for another couple hundred years. He had a few cycles of a couple hundred years to do this,
Mm-hmm.
and then he could go back to the mothership, take his consciousness out of his body.
You should have heard me try to explain this to my coworker at 8:00 in the morning. It made no sense. I said I was like spaceships in the ground, and he's like, I'm still drinking.
Yeah,
coffee,
he
man."
says he parked his spaceship in the Sphinx.
You hear that, Robert? I know you're watching this. He said he was gonna watch.
Heck yeah.
Well, hold on. That makes me because I want to wrap it up here real quick. But you just said something that made me remember what we were talking about as far as going into chambers and resting. Tell me why LeBron James is not a human being.
Oh man, I'm not going into that.
Just a little bit.
I can't.
Is his hair
As
real?
they tell you, as they no, we know that's allowed
That
to be
shit-
spray painted.
That shit peeled
I
back
can
one day.
speak on that all day.
Did you ever see the clip where Anthony Davis was like, "Yo, your head's falling off"?
I missed that one, but I definitely seen that boy not have no hair one day, and then the next day he got a full hairline.
Dude, he has like it's not even attached. It slides up
Hey,
his
man.
fucking head. That's for another day. That's for another
Shout out to
episode.
LeBron for breaking the scoring record, though.
Yeah, congratulations. You know what? I can't hate him because I love watching all of his highlights. Dude, that's the thing, right? People shit on him and talk about how he's this and that and soft and all. But dude, every time you look at any Laker game, it's 1 million plus highlights. Like fucking everybody watches it. Everybody loves him.
Anybody who knows me knows I'm extremely critical of LeBron as the player, but
What about the robot though?
this guy.
I'm gonna get you to talk about it.
Nah, man, I don't know what he talking about. They say Kawhi Leonard a robot. I don't know.
Have you heard that robot laugh before?
But hey, I just think when you're a freak athlete,
Yeah.
you might have special abilities. Who knows? They did.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, you did call him a freak, so that's a sign. Hey, what do you
Nonetheless-
who do you think's gonna win with the play-in game tonight?
Damn, I'm sorry, y'all. I don't know what the date is.
I don't
My
either.
days get mixed up.
So I feel like I honestly think the plot for the playoffs is the Lakers have to win in dramatic fashion tomorrow. How do you feel about that?
I feel like this was set up, and this goes into the whole.
Rudy Gobert thing.
Yeah.
Should we watch that?
So before we run this, so this is where my gripe comes in. This whole thing just seems a bit ripe with script being written for this whole thing.
All right, please explain.
I'm not gonna go too far in depth because I don't like ruining the theatrics for people. Like, I still love basketball. I still watch the NBA. I still watch the NFL, even though we know the whole allegations about it being rigged. Even though it's been pretty much said by Roger Goodell himself that it's more like the WWE. The NBA hasn't came out and publicly said that, but there's things you can see that let you know it's a lot of money in it. I mean, you're gonna leave it all to chance. I just let you interpretate the rest. But what I can say is that when you look at the way certain things are set up, certain things are just undeniable. So all the way up to this, you get LeBron hurt. You're not sure about if he's coming back. You know what I mean? Yeah, we got dogs in the background.
I didn't
Sorry
know what
if
the
y'all
fuck
could
that
hear
was.
Nonetheless, we got if he's coming back, and if he comes back, if they're gonna make the playoffs, all of this theatrics, they start fighting back without him on the court, mind you. Soon as they start making his comeback, here comes effing LeBron to save the day. Like they weren't winning without you, my guy.
Dude, they were doing better without him.
Just like this whole Russell Westbrook. Like, look at how good Russell Westbrook is playing,
But they're stacked too. They got so many good players. Dude, they got Eric Gordon.
but I mean, dude, like the Lakers were stacked. They had him coming off the bench. If they weren't stacked, why was he not starting? That's just what I'm saying. It's
Yeah,
like
I think
the LeBron
that's
effect
yeah.
is that. But nonetheless, here he comes back, and then now it's like, oh, here we go. And they have this video of him, man. Did you think at the beginning of the season and the way that things was going after things got bad like this that we would actually make it to 500? Do you think you would ever hear Jordan say some like? But then here comes the setup where then they're playing the Timberwolves, and then here go the Timberwolves malfunctioning and all of this, and then you have the biggest blow up I've ever seen. I've never seen.
I haven't
this.
seen this, and I want to watch it.
And this
So
is what we're about to tap into
Okay.
now. Rudy
Okay.
Gobert and Kyle Anderson.
So
and I'm gonna let him watch it. Just tell me if you ever seen some shit like this before.
Okay. All right.
I've seen a lot,
Bulls
but
bench. Anderson and Rudy Gobert. That's just something you don't see every day. I know the intention.
the commentator. That's just something you don't see
He
every
just titty
day.
punched him. Why did he? Well, so
So these guys are arguing, and Rudy Gobert decides to take a swing at him, bro. His own teammate. Regardless of what y'all arguing about. Okay, so pause it right there. Hold on. Before you go, this is where my issue comes in. First
Okay.
off, this isn't about anything being rigged, but I want to point out something to all my athletes real quick. If you want to be a winner in life, you cannot be afraid to step up when things are hard. Anthony Edwards, you are the future leader, the face of this franchise. Karl Anthony Towns, you are the current face of this franchise. I wanted you to leave it up for a second.
I got you,
Leave that up. Bring that
Okay.
back up because I want
you
you
want
to
to see his
it.
face?
I want you to leave it right where it's at, right there. Don't
Okay.
don't change nothing.
Okay.
Karl Anthony Towns, smack dab in the middle. You got Anthony Edwards sitting right next to him watching. If you want to be a
Is that him on the left
team,
with like the '80s looking fade?
yeah,
here?
that's Anthony Edwards, and then Karl Anthony Towns is there with his head down.
Yeah.
You hear this kind of argument going on, and y'all are
finally.
the two leaders.
I wonder what do we know what? Do you want me to play it again?
No, you don't. You can if you want to, but yeah, just go ahead and run through it. And the two leaders, they never get up.
Okay. He doesn't give a shit.
He low key think it's funny. I picked up Anthony Edwards' energy. I love Anthony Edwards, by the way. He dope.
He's like only been-
nasty.
Yeah,
he's
so
nasty.
good. He's so good.
He don't get enough credit at all. That dude.
See, Kyle Anthony's too slow to block it.
This is what I'm
Yes,
saying.
that's
If you
what it
want to
is.
be a winner, first off, your leaders got to step up. This is that whole AAUification and the softness of the league that everybody be talking about. That was it, front and center. But back to the real topic here.
Okay.
What kind of meltdown is that? Going right into the playoffs, you got Rudy Gobert. And Rudy Gobert has a history of this kind of shit, bro.
And he's new. I just
Rudy,
realized
okay,
that.
so a lot
He's-
of people don't realize Rudy Gobert is the reason that Donovan Mitchell left Utah.
I didn't know that.
He remember that whole COVID
I know they got
situation?
traded at the same time. Oh yeah. When he touched the mics and shit.
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
he
yeah,
goes back to the locker room and touches all on Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell's like, bro, get off me. And he ends up giving him COVID.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So Donovan
that
Mitchell
pissed
was
him off?
livid because it's like, bro, you gave me COVID. I had to miss games. I had to possibly, I can't hang out with my family
Yeah.
because you're taking this as a game. And you touching the mics after this whole COVID situation. And then here goes Rudy Gobert again. Let's go sabotage some other playoff dreams.
Do they know? Did
And he's
anybody
French.
speculate on the? Oh, go ahead. He's French. What?
They got a lot of undercover agents. I'm just saying.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going a different direction, but so what do you think? Did they know what that fight was about?
Yeah, basically, Kyle Anderson was telling him to step up. You got paid a lot of money to block
Oh.
shots and be a defensive player. Go block some shots. Do something. Make yourself useful. And Rudy Gobert didn't like that response, and
He did that
said
D.
something.
Haslin fucking Street Fighter. Who's that long motherfucker?
I don't know. I ain't played Street
You don't
Fighter
know
in so long.
Jamie. Come on.
See,
Street
you be
Fighter,
putting
the
people
bald
on the
head with the
spot.
long fucking stretch arms.
I know who you talking about because I had his toy, but I don't know his name. If I'm not mistaken, he had the voodoo skulls around his waist.
He
and
was
shit.
like, yeah, he had like the bald head. I think he was Indian. I'm not sure.
Oh,
He
damn.
floated Indian style. Yeah, it was super racist.
I
But
don't
he,
know.
but he was
might
a
have
hell of a
been-
fighter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, would you call it racist, Eddie and Tekken? How he had like the capoeira style, the black dude with the dreads. I think it's just paying
No.
homage to certain,
Yeah, no, I
cultures.
think you're right. You're right. Before we get done, Izzy, I know you saw the fight because you texted me. So I'm sitting alone watching this shit on my phone, kind of thinking he's gonna lose. And then that shit happened. I jumped
doubted
up,
it.
my fucking phone fell out of my hand and shit. I was shaking, bro, like I know him. Like,
Bro.
what the fuck was that?
So there's very few moments in history that just get you. If you're involved in the sport at all,
Mm-hmm.
if you're not involved in the sport at all, you're gonna hear about that moment. It was that. So before we get
Dude,
too
my
far, I
heart's
have to
starting to
say, shout out to Alex Pereira for even making it that intense of a battle.
Yeah.
Because if he would have lost the first time, we
Yeah.
wouldn't have had this kind
Yeah,
of
you're right. If
redemption.
it would have went to decision, and then it wouldn't have.
It wouldn't have had the same sting
You're
as
right.
this.
Yeah.
This Izzy needed this. Izzy needed a reason to dig down. And
Dude.
me though, watching it, so my daughter fell asleep right next to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm watching it though, but I knew what Izzy was doing. I was just
You
worried.
saw the setup?
I seen it, but I was worried that he wasn't gonna make it long. He was gonna get clipped like he did, because he tried to do it the first
Right.
fight. That's what he was doing.
Oh, I thought he was really
He
he was really compromised though.
I mean, but that's how he got compromised, because he went to go back against the gate, and then he was gonna do that, lay down for a second, and then he was gonna grab him as opposed to swinging, like how he came off the fence.
Yeah.
But it was to lure him in to make him swing wild so he can clinch him.
So he
The
was
first
looking
fight.
for the clinch instead of the strike.
Yeah, the first fight. So
Okay.
when he got to the fence, he lulled him in intentionally,
Mm-hmm.
and when he didn't see the opening, it was all right. Let me just grab him, get him off me, switch him. But in
because he
that
did
opening,
do that right before. You're right.
and he got clipped, and it was just enough. That's just the power that Pereira had.
Yeah.
all he gotta do is touch you.
Yeah.
Like, I thought it was a little hype job, but no, that man, he touched you. That
So, and speaking of that, so the first thing I heard, actually was Cheeto Vera. He was on a podcast watching it at the same time, and he saw it and he goes, "He cut too much weight. That's why his chin's compromised. He's too skinny." Do you think that when he goes to 205, he's
first off, he didn't even get hit on the chin.
Well, that's kind of a saying they say, like
No,
he's chinny,
no,
but
no, but-
he's so
but
his neck. I
Your
believe it.
chin can physically get weak. So there's a nerve, and I don't know the exact name of the nerve, but when
It's the
that
neck
went,
nerve.
it's like it's directly behind like your jawbone. And
Okay.
when that gets jacked hard enough and it hits that nerve, it shuts off.
Right,
That's
right.
why you pass out when you get
Yeah.
hit flush on the chin faster
But
than anywhere else.
when you have muscle and neck and you're built up, you can, like fucking Romero, his shit's fake. But when you have necks like that, you can take.
Cyborg, we
you
talking
can-
about fake people, goddamn.
You can take. He can take the impact, but he's
But
like
he
a
got hit in
giraffe
the-
because he's so
this-
sucked.
this
No, that was the
spot-
second one. That was the second one. Was in the back of the head. The
Both
first
of
one was
them.
right on the mouth. No, it's right on the jaw. I watched it in slow motion.
Pull it up. Pull
All
it
right,
up.
all
Let's
right,
let's look
all
at
right,
this
all
real
right.
quick.
You see him, body. He's gonna knee him. The knee.
So you
fucked
see him
up.
leaning down?
Blacada.
It didn't hurt him. It didn't hurt him.
That hurt.
It
but
was
he-
hard, but it didn't hurt.
And he saw the hands down. Watch his face. Boom. That's the face. That was his
But look,
face.
he's about to stand back up.
Yeah,
Watch
now
that
that's
back, of the, head.
That's the one that put him out.
Wham.
Yep.
Look, lights out.
Look at the little. He loves doing that fucking over and under.
Yep.
I don't. I
And then
under
this
might have hit him too.
It's bam.
Oh,
it's,
in the neck.
it's over, bro. Good night.
But do you see what I was saying?
and then
though?
the celebration to his kid.
Oh, when he's
Yeah.
stiffened up. Yeah. Dude,
But
this shit is legendary.
This,
bro.
yeah, it's one of the greatest knockouts in UFC history. Top 5, gotta be top 3 maybe.
Is it?
because-
Let me ask you about that. Is that because of the history?
Yeah, of course.
Right?
That makes that's the thing. It's so hard to build that kind of a storyline for
Yes.
a fight. Like
Yeah.
that to me
Organically,
felt
yeah.
like T'Challa versus Namor. Just two head on, because if he goes to 185, man, it's gonna be hell. And I absolutely love not 185, excuse me, 205.
205.
I absolutely love Jamal Hill, bro. But fucking
Jamal can take. I think Jamal could take him. Jamal's more diverse.
I'm gonna vote for Jamal Hill just because I love the fact that the guy's not super ripped. He looks like a got a dad
he
bod,
doesn't.
but
I don't think he
be,
cuts or anything.
He be whooping that ass.
Yeah.
And he fight gritty, bro. He fight like a dog, bro. Like him
Yeah.
and Glover Teixeira, like
That was a great
bro.
fight.
That was a war.
Yeah.
He's talking about he ready for
Fucking
Yuri
props
to
to
come back.
Glover. Glover's probably glad he ain't got to fight Alex.
Bro, what the hell? Yeah, I mean, they wouldn't even fight. That's why he's like, I
Yeah.
see him coming. He even said they expect him to go to 205
Yeah.
at this point.
Glover
He-
retired, I think, anyways, right?
Yeah, he doesn't have to cut so much weight. And he's going to be even stronger.
That's what I'm saying. So that goes back to my point. I think he's not going to be as knockoutable with his actual natural muscle. I think he's had.
They get it back, though. These dudes gain like 15 pounds overnight. So I hate when they say that. I get
But
weight
think about
drained
it.
when you have a rehydration clause. But
I can't wait.
Izzy's not a small
We're gonna have to
dude.
see. We're gonna have to see. This
Oh
is
yeah,
fun.
205, he thumping.
This is
Jamal
fun.
Hill though, I'm gonna put my money on you, my boy.
Yeah.
I rocks with you.
Yeah.
I love you.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be one of the greatest fights in UFC history.
Yeah.
Just the way that y'all fight style go up. I feel like it'll be what they wished him versus Izzy was, just from round one. And I'm gonna vote for you, my boy. If it ever come down, stay solid. I love you, Jamal Hill, because you really represent for the dudes out there that people don't believe in this sport. Anybody can be anything they put their mind to. He's a good example.
Word, straight up. All right. Well, shit. I think we figured things out.
Be careful.
Fuck it.
Technology is not a bad thing, but just be careful with what consent you give. That's all I'm saying.
And I should unplug my Alexa.
That mean I would. But I
gotta
forget.
turn my lights on, though.
I forget though. You might be a sleeper agent, so you might want to leave it on.
Nah, me.
I love you, bro.
I love you too.
That's cool, man.
All
I
right.
appreciate
Till next
it.
time.